Welcome to I Am Unveiled, where we decode the deeper meaning behind Scripture by returning to the original manuscripts and root words. You're invited to read along in your Bible and take notes, or simply listen and let the living Word move through you. This isn't about memorizing verses. It's about remembering what's always been true. Suppressed truths, hidden in plain sight, are waiting to be seen, because every name, every event, every place in Scripture mirrors something unfolding inside you. So stay present, let the symbols speak, let the breath slow, and let the living Word awaken where it's always been, within. This arc tracks the shift from the adrenaline of escape to the grind of daily reliance. Israel moves from the rush of the Red Sea's parting into the long stretch of wilderness, where miracles look less like split waters and more like bread showing up each morning. We watch the people wrestle with the psychology of freedom. Hunger, thirst, and uncertainty press in, and the ego, aka Pharaoh's shadow, tries to reassert itself by glamorizing the old life. But here, manna is introduced, a symbol of provision that must be gathered fresh each day, training them to trust the unseen instead of hoarding for control. Moses rises into fuller leadership, learning to listen to divine instruction in the mundane, not just the spectacular. Water flows from a rock. Amalek rises, which is symbolic of an embodiment of inner resistance, and is defeated only when Moses' hands remain lifted, supported by others. The arc closes with Jethro's arrival, offering wisdom on structure and shared responsibility, showing that leadership isn't isolation, but the right distribution of weight. Chapter 16.
The whole congregation of the people of Israel set out from Elim, and all the congregation of the people of Israel came to the wilderness of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai, on the 15th day of the second month after they had departed from the land of Egypt. And the whole congregation of the people of Israel murmured against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness, and said to them, "Would that we had died by the hand of the Lord in the land of Egypt, when we sat by the flesh pots and ate bread to the full. For you have brought us out into this wilderness to kill this whole assembly with hunger." Then the Lord said to Moses, "Behold, I will rain bread from heaven for you, and the people shall go out and gather a day's portion every day, that I may prove them, whether they will walk in my law or not. On the sixth day, when they prepare what they bring in, it will be twice as much as they gather daily." So Moses and Aaron said to all the people of Israel, "At evening you shall know that it was the Lord who brought you out of the land of Egypt. And in the morning you shall see the glory of the Lord, because he has heard your murmurings against the Lord. For what are we, that you murmur against us?" And Moses said, "When the Lord gives you in the evening flesh to eat, and in the morning bread to the full, because the Lord has heard your murmurings, which you murmur against him. What are we? Your murmurings are not against us, but against the Lord." And Moses said to Aaron, "Say to the whole congregation of the people of Israel, 'Come near before the Lord, for he has heard your murmurings.'" And as Aaron spoke to the whole congregation of the people of Israel, they looked toward the wilderness, and behold, the glory of the Lord appeared in the cloud. And the Lord said to Moses, "I have heard the murmurings of the people of Israel. Say to them, at twilight you shall eat flesh, and in the morning you shall be filled with bread. Then you shall know that I am the Lord your God." In the evening quails came up and covered the camp, and in the morning dew lay round about the camp. And when the dew had gone up, there was on the face of the wilderness a fine flake-like thing, fine as hoarfrost on the ground. When the people of Israel saw it, they said to one another, "What is it?" For they did not know what it was. And Moses said to them, "It is the bread which the Lord has given you to eat. This is what the Lord has commanded. Gather of it, every man of you, as much as he can eat. You shall take an omer apiece, according to the number of the persons whom each of you has in his tent." And the people of Israel did so. They gathered some more, some less. But when they measured it with an omer, He that gathered much had nothing over, and he that gathered little had no lack. Each gathered according to what he could eat. And Moses said to them, Let no man leave any of it till the morning. But they did not listen to Moses. Some left part of it till the morning, and it bred worms and became foul. And Moses was angry with them. Morning by morning they gathered it, each as much as he could eat. But when the sun grew hot, it melted. On the 6th day they gathered twice as much bread, 2 omers apiece. And when all the leaders of the congregation came and told Moses, he said to them, This is what the Lord has commanded. Tomorrow is a day of solemn rest, a holy Sabbath to the Lord. Bake what you will bake, and boil what you will boil, and all that is left over, lay by to be kept till the morning. So they laid it by till the morning, as Moses commanded them, and it did not become foul, and there were no worms in it. Moses said, Eat it today, for today is a Sabbath to the Lord. Today you will not find it in the field. 6 days you shall gather it. But on the 7th day, which is a Sabbath, there will be none. On the 7th day, some of the people went out to gather, and they found none. And the Lord said to Moses, How long do you refuse to keep my commandments and my laws? See, the Lord has given you the Sabbath. Therefore, on the 6th day, he gives you bread for 2 days. Remain every man of you in his place. Let no man go out of his place on the 7th day. So the people rested on the 7th day. Now the house of Israel called its name manna. It was like coriander seed, white, and the taste of it was like wafers made with honey. And Moses said, This is what the Lord has commanded. Let an omer of it be kept throughout your generations, that they may see the bread with which I fed you in the wilderness, when I brought you out of the land of Egypt. And Moses said to Aaron, Take a jar and put an omer of manna in it, and place it before the Lord, to be kept throughout your generations. As the Lord commanded Moses, so Aaron placed it before the testimony to be kept. And the people of Israel ate the manna 40 years, till they came to a habitable land. They ate the manna till they came to the border of the land of Canaan. An omer is the 10th part of an ephah.
The rush from the Red Sea is gone. Now it's just dry air, long days, and that gnawing in your stomach that makes the mind rewrite history. Egypt starts looking good in hindsight, not because it was good, but because at least it was predictable. That's how the ego works under pressure. It will trade freedom for familiarity if it thinks it means safety. God answers the hunger, but not with storage or stockpiles, with a rhythm. Bread in the morning, meat at night, just enough for the day. Anything held on to from fear rots. And that's the real battle here, not the lack of food, but the instinct to grab more than what's meant for today because you don't trust tomorrow. Manna trains a different muscle, the one that knows provision comes in the now, not in your panic. That Sabbath command, take twice before the rest day, then stop, is a direct hit to the survival program. It's saying, you're not kept alive by your grind, you're kept alive by the source. The ones who went out looking for manna on the Sabbath weren't hungry. They were still under Egypt's clock, still chasing after, just in case. And that's the poison. Living as if what you've been given can't possibly be enough. If you've ever broken out of something toxic, you know the wilderness stage. It's quiet, it's slower, and if you're not careful, your mind will convince you to run back to what broke you. But manna teaches patience in the stretch. You learn to eat what shows up when it shows up, and to stop thinking you need to control the delivery. Chapter 17.
All the congregation of the people of Israel moved on from the wilderness of sin by stages, according to the commandment of the Lord, and camped at Rephidim. But there was no water for the people to drink. Therefore the people found fault with Moses and said, Give us water to drink. And Moses said to them, Why do you find fault with me? Why do you put the Lord to the proof? But the people thirsted there for water, and the people murmured against Moses and said, Why did you bring us up out of Egypt? To kill us and our children and our cattle with thirst. So Moses cried to the Lord, What shall I do with this people? They are almost ready to stone me. And the Lord said to Moses, pass on before the people, taking with you some of the elders of Israel, and take in your hand the rod with which you struck the Nile, and go. Behold, I will stand before you there on the rock at Horeb, and you shall strike the rock, and water shall come out of it, that the people may drink. And Moses did so in the sight of the elders of Israel. And he called the name of the place Massa and Meribah, because of the fault finding of the children of Israel, and because they put the Lord to the proof by saying, is the Lord among us or not? Then came Amalek and fought with Israel at Rephidim. And Moses said to Joshua, choose for us men, and go out, fight with Amalek. Tomorrow I will stand on the top of the hill with the rod of God in my hand. So Joshua did as Moses told him, and fought with Amalek. And Moses, Aaron, and Hur went up to the top of the hill. Whenever Moses held up his hand, Israel prevailed, and whenever he lowered his hand, Amalek prevailed. But Moses' hands grew weary, so they took a stone and put it under him, and he sat upon it. And Aaron and Hur held up his hands, one on one side and the other on the other side. So his hands were steady until the going down of the sun. And Joshua mowed down Amalek and his people with the edge of the sword. Then the Lord said to Moses, write this as a memorial in a book, and recite it in the ears of Joshua, that I will utterly blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven. And Moses built an altar and called the name of it, the Lord is my banner, saying, a hand upon the banner of the Lord. The Lord will have war with Amalek from generation to generation.
The cycle shows up again. A need hits, and the people turn on the very one leading them out. It's the same with us. As soon as we feel pressure, we start looking for someone or something to blame. And when we're dry, the mind loves to romanticize the past. At least back then, I knew what to expect. That's how the old life sneaks back in, dressed as stability. God tells Moses to take the same rod that struck the Nile and now strike a rock. That's not just a random detail, it's a flip in purpose. The same force that broke what was holding you can now open what sustains you. It's a reminder that your past battles gave you tools you can use again, but this time to release life instead of fight death. Then Amalek shows up. Always notice when resistance hits. It's usually right after something good has just been given. You get a breakthrough, and suddenly something in you wants to pull you back into proving yourself, struggling again, getting distracted. Amalek is that inner saboteur, the pull to go back to fight mode instead of staying in the flow you just received. The way they win this battle says everything. It's not through constant attacking, but through Moses holding up his hands, the posture of trust. And when he can't hold them up anymore, Aaron and Hur step in and keep them steady. That's real life. There are days you can't hold your own focus, and you need people who know how to hold it with you. When the fight is over, God tells Moses to write it down, because the mind will forget. You'll move on, and when the next dry place comes, you'll start thinking you've never made it through before. The record isn't for God's sake, it's for yours, so you stop losing to the same battle twice. Chapter 18.
Jethro, the priest of Midian, Moses' father-in-law, heard of all that God had done for Moses and for Israel, his people, how the Lord had brought Israel out of Egypt. Now Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, had taken Zipporah, Moses' wife, after he had sent her away, and her 2 sons. The name of the one was Gershom, for he said, I have been a sojourner in a foreign land. And the name of the other, Eleazar, for he said, the God of my father was my help and delivered me from the sword of Pharaoh. And Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, came with his sons and his wife to Moses in the wilderness, where he was encamped at the mountain of God. And when one told Moses, lo, your father-in-law Jethro is coming to you with your wife and her 2 sons, Moses went out to meet his father-in-law and bowed down and kissed him. And they asked each other of their welfare and went into the tent. Then Moses told his father-in-law all that the Lord had done to Pharaoh and to the Egyptians for Israel's sake, all the hardship that had come upon them in the way, and how the Lord had delivered them. And Jethro rejoiced for all the good which the Lord had done to Israel, in that he had delivered them out of the hand of the Egyptians. And Jethro said, Blessed be the Lord, who has delivered you out of the hand of the Egyptians and out of the hand of Pharaoh. Now I know that the Lord is greater than all gods, because he delivered the people from under the hand of the Egyptians when they dealt arrogantly with them. And Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, offered a burnt offering and sacrifices to God. And Aaron came with all the elders of Israel to eat bread with Moses' father-in-law before God. On the morrow Moses sat to judge the people, and the people stood about Moses from morning till evening. When Moses' father-in-law saw all that he was doing for the people, he said, What is this that you are doing for the people? Why do you sit alone, and all the people stand about you from morning till evening? And Moses said to his father-in-law, Because the people come to me to inquire of God. When they have a dispute, they come to me, and I decide between a man and his neighbor, and I make them know the statutes of God and his decisions. Moses' father-in-law said to him, What you are doing is not good. You and the people with you will wear yourselves out, for the thing is too heavy for you. You are not able to perform it alone. Listen now to my voice. I will give you counsel, and God be with you. You shall represent the people before God and bring their cases to God, and you shall teach them the statutes and the decisions, and make them know the way in which they must walk and what they must do. Moreover, choose able men from all the people, such as fear God, men who are trustworthy and who hate a bribe, and place such men over the people as rulers of thousands, of hundreds, of fifties, and of tens. And let them judge the people at all times. Every great matter they shall bring to you, but any small matter they shall decide themselves. So it will be easier for you, and they will bear the burden with you. If you do this, and God so commands you, then you will be able to endure, and all this people also will go to their place in peace. So Moses gave heed to the voice of his father-in-law, and did all that he had said. Moses chose able men out of all Israel, and made them heads over the people, rulers of thousands, of hundreds, of fifties, and of tens. And they judged the people at all times. Hard cases they brought to Moses, but any small matter they decided themselves. Then Moses let his father-in-law depart, and he went his way to his own country.
Jethro shows up, and he's not just bringing himself, he's bringing Moses' wife and kids. That says a lot, because when you're chasing a calling or building something big, parts of your personal life can get pushed aside. This reunion is a quiet reminder. Success that costs you the people you love isn't real success. Moses tells Jethro everything God's done, and Jethro celebrates, really celebrates. No backhanded compliments, no subtle competition, just joy. Those people are rare. Most will either compare, criticize, or make your story about them. A true supporter can cheer for you without needing the spotlight. But then Jethro watches Moses at work, morning to night, every single person lining up with their problems. And he says what a lot of us need to hear. What you're doing is not good. It's too heavy for you. That's not weakness, and that's wisdom. Carrying everything yourself doesn't make you strong. It just makes you tired. And when you're tired, you make worse decisions, lose patience, and burn out. Jethro gives him a better system. Teach the people the principles so they don't need you for every little thing. Choose trustworthy leaders to handle the smaller matters, and keep your focus on what only you can do. That's how you protect your energy and theirs. And here's the part that hits. Moses listens. This is the same man who stood before Pharaoh, called down plagues, split the sea. If anyone could have brushed off advice, it was him. But he didn't. He stayed teachable. Sometimes the wisdom that saves you comes from someone outside the spotlight, just watching your life and caring enough to speak up. Closing out, these chapters hit home concerning relatability. The wilderness will test you in ways Egypt never did. Out there, you can't survive on old habits. You have to learn trust one day at a time. In chapter 16, manna forces you to stop stockpiling out of fear and start believing you'll be taken care of tomorrow. In chapter 17, the fight with Amalek shows that resistance usually shows up right after a win. The victory wasn't about pushing harder, it was about staying steady and letting others hold you up when you couldn't do it yourself. Then in chapter 18, Jethro reminds Moses and us that trying to carry everything alone will break you. Real strength isn't proving you can handle it all, it's knowing what to hand off and who to trust with it. The through line? Leaving your Egypt is only the first step. Staying free means breaking the patterns that would pull you back there. The fear, the self-reliance, the refusal to accept help. Thank you for watching. If something stirred in you, sit with it. Don't rush to explain it. Let it unfold. This journey isn't about gathering more knowledge. It's about becoming still enough to recognize what's always been yours. We'll keep walking the scriptures together, one chapter at a time, one layer at a time, until the veil lifts and only I am remains. If you haven't already, like and subscribe. Share this with someone whose spirit is ready to remember, and drop a comment if there's a book you'd like us to decode next. Until next time, this is I Am Unveiled.